45 auto versus 357 Magnum in full-size handguns. And today what I have is the critical duty versus the critical defense. 5.3 inch Glock 41 and a 4 inch Smith & Wesson 686. We got about the same bullet travel in the guns between both of those. And the critical duty is designed to be a full-size option for handguns, as where the critical defense is designed to be a concealed carry option. However, all the testing I've done between longer barrels and shorter barrels, the critical defense doesn't seem to be using a faster burning powder. We seem to get a significant increase in velocity when we go to a longer barrel. So I still think it might be a good option for a full-size handgun. Critical duty has a little bit harder of a lead alloy, a little bit thicker jacket. So we'll see how these do. So I'm going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I'm going to get at the same time. And as always, we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna, kind of simulates a pectoral muscle, covered by 4 layers of denim, followed by 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard, simulate ribs or sternum. It's pretty tough stuff. And then to water jugs to catch that projectile. And how this compares to 20% ballistics gel is that bologna pack represents about 6 inches of ballistics gel, and each water jug after that represents about 9 inches. So we can get out the back of the second jug, we're dealing with about 12 inches comparison to ballistic gel. Out the back of the third, about 15 inches, and so on. So what we're looking for is out the back of the second jug minimum, out the back of the fourth jug maximum. That would represent about 12 to 18 inches in ballistics gel. So let's get started with the test and see how the critical defense compares to the critical duty. All right, first up is the 45 auto. Critical defense, it's rated at 1,000 feet per second. About 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. See if we get close to that 1,000 feet per second rated velocity on this 185 grain bullet. 1,007. 1049. 1025. 1033. 1031, so pretty decent velocity. We got over that 1,000 feet per second, so pretty good. Now let's see how the critical duty compares. All right, critical duty, it is a 220 grains, so it's 35 grains heavier than the critical defense. And this is actually rated at 990, so pretty close rated velocity. Let's see what we actually get. I pulled that one myself. That was me. No read. 979, 960. This has a lot of jolt here. It's knocking my mag out. And we'll keep going with this. 1043, 979, 978. So pretty good velocity, pretty close to rated velocity, if not at about that. The sound is a little bit deeper, but I couldn't really notice much in the difference of felt recoil. Now let's go into the 357 Magnum, see how that compares. All right, critical defense, 357 mag. We'll see how this does. $14.77, $14.85. 1448, 1453, 1417. Pretty good. It's rated at 1,500 feet per second, so pretty decent for a 4-inch barrel to get that close to 1,500 feet per second. Now let's see how the critical duty compares. All right, the critical defense was a 125 grain rated at 1,500 feet per second. The critical duty is a 135 grain rated at 1,275. So we'll see how this does. 1318, 1335, 1323, 1322, 1286. So a little bit of variance on velocity there. Both had about the same felt recoil. They both felt pretty good to me. Now let's hit the ballistic box with all 4 and see how they all compare. All right, critical defense, 185 grain, 45 ACP. We'll see how this does on the ballistic box. Alright, a lot of damage to that first jug. This is a very small hole. going through the fiberboard here. I was expecting bigger than that, and what we see with baloney damage is not particularly that well either. However, the first jug is expanded huge, so might be more of a slow expansion. Right, first jug has just a massive amount of damage. Jug 2 as well, very large amount of damage compared to a lot of other cartridges. Jug 3 is completely empty. We went right through that. We went through 4, we're in 5. We went through 5. Wow. We went through all of them. And the bullet is back there. And we have no expansion at all. That's terrible. Over penetration. We're looking at about 24 inches ballistics gel penetration in comparison to my test. No expansion. So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go right to the 357 Magnum critical defense. We did not get expansion with that round in the 2-inch barrel when I tested in the past. Never tested it to the 4-inch barrel. So we'll see if the critical defense 357 will expand. Alright, critical defense 357 Magnum. See how this does. Wow. And even though I taped this thing up really well, it just blew it apart. I don't know where the fiberboard is. A lot of damage going on here. Alright, jug 1 has a huge amount of damage. We have the fiberboard on the other side of that, and the hole is just massive through this. So it was expanding before it hit the fiberboard. There's baloney pieces all over. Jug 2 is empty. We normally see that with 357. Impact on 3, we went through 3. I can see the bullet in 4. There's no mark out the back of 4, so we have to take kind of an educated guess and say 16 to 17 inches of penetration in comparison to ballistics gel. And what we have here with the critical defense is pretty good expansion. Looks like maybe 52 caliber, something like that. So pretty decent. Pretty decent. We had a little bit more than desired penetration, but that's not really a significant thing when we talk about 2 inches more. And good expansion. Now let's see how the critical duty compares. Alright, 45 ACP, critical duty 220 grain. We'll see how this does. Baloney pack hit my foot. Let's see how this did. And here's the baloney pack, and here is the fiberboard. So a lot better than that critical defense. A lot more damage. That's about typical for a 45 auto. We have a plug of denim here. Fiberboard hole is massive. Let's see what we got in water jugs. Alright, first jug. This is just absolute destruction. That's a lot more than typical. Jug 2 are empty like a Magnum would do to a jug. Jug 3, we went through that. Impacted 4. And we have the bullet in 4, so just like the 357 critical defense, we're going to have to call it 16 to 17 inches of penetration. And what we got is pretty good expansion. It's not symmetrical all the way. It's possible this one side hit the bottom of the box and broke it off. But I would say that's pretty good performance because we're getting a lot of expansion, a lot of penetration, a lot of energy at that round. Pretty decent. Let's see how the 357 compares. Alright, 357 critical duty. As you can see, I only have 4 water jugs. Wasn't prepared for that 45 auto to zip through all 6. So we can hope we can catch this. If not, I apologize. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got to work with today. 357 critical duty. Alright. That is a huge amount of damage that I'm seeing right here. So this is the most baloney damage compared to all 4 of these. because there's about a third of it missing, and I don't see it anywhere. So that means it would have went in really tiny particles all over the place. Damage to the fiberboard is really good. We cracked the whole bottom of it. Let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, first jug has just a massive amount of damage. That is a lot. Jug 2 is completely empty. Impact on 3, and it went through 3. Impact on 4. And we caught it in 4. No dent out the back. So we caught it in 4, just like the 45 critical duty, the 357 critical defense. We caught it in 4, so we're going to call it 16 to 17 inches of penetration. And what we have is really good expansion. Decent. Looks pretty good to me. So comparing all these rounds, first thing we got to talk about is that 45 auto critical defense. That was terrible. That is designed for shorter barrels, lighter guns, and through a 5.3 inch barrel, which is longer than typical, no expansion. That's absolutely terrible, because we got really good velocity. So why that happened, I have no idea. The critical defense 357, tested in the past with a 2-inch barrel, no expansion. 4-inch barrel, it did expand. Now we talk about the critical duty here. I've tested the critical duty in the snub nose through the ballistic box here. Got expansion. Well, I've never tested the 45 auto critical duty through the ballistic box before. I did shoot it into plain water jugs, and it also expanded. So I would say, judging between these two tests, if you're going to have a full-size handgun, really any handgun from what I'm seeing here, you're going to be better off with the critical duty. It just seems to be a superior round. And even though we're not going through hard barriers, it's performing better than the critical defense. So critical defense is kind of iffy on whether it works or not. Just like in the snub nose with the 38, sometimes it expands, sometimes not very well. And we're seeing that here with critical defense, different calibers as well here. So that's what you get today between the critical defense, critical duty. I say my money's on the critical duty. So as always, comment, share, and like. And thanks for watching.